Mitrice Richardson vanished in 2009 after she was released from the sheriff's Malibu Lost Hills station in the middle of the night. Almost a year later, Mitrice's remains were found at an abandoned pot farm. This morning, the LA County Board of Supervisors will meet to discuss approving a bigger reward to find her killer.
Imagine a young woman full of promise, vanishing into the night after a seemingly routine encounter with law enforcement. This is the haunting story of Mitrice Richardson, whose mysterious disappearance and tragic death continue to raise questions about the intersection of mental health and the criminal justice system. Mitrice LaVaughn Richardson was born on April 30th, 1985, in Los Angeles, California. She was raised by her mother, Lettice Sutton, and stepfather, Larry Sutton, in Covina, a suburb east of Los Angeles. Mitrice's family and friends remember her as a personable and outgoing individual, with her mother affectionately referring to her as a rainbow. Mitrice attended South Hills High School in West Covina, where she was known for her friendly nature and academic diligence. After graduating, she pursued higher education at California State University, Fullerton. In 2008, she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology, reflecting her deep interest in understanding human behavior. During her time at the university, Mitrice interned under clinical psychologist Dr. Rhonda Hampton, gaining valuable experience in her field. Dr. Hampton later became an advocate for Mitrice, especially during the search efforts following her disappearance. Mitrice had a passion for working with children and had passed her test to become a certified teacher. Her aunt, Lauren Sutton, noted that Mitrice always loved word puzzles and was a sweetheart, further highlighting her intellectual curiosity and kind-hearted nature. In addition to her academic and professional pursuits, Mitrice was involved in beauty pageants, showcasing her poise and confidence. She also worked part-time as a dancer in an LGBT strip club in Long Beach, California, balancing multiple roles to support herself. Open about her sexual orientation, Mitrice identified as a lesbian and was in a committed relationship with her girlfriend, Tessa Moon, at the time of her disappearance. The couple had been dating for about 2 years, and Tessa refuted claims that Mitrice had any mental illness, emphasizing her stability and well-being. Mitrice's diverse interests and ambitions painted the picture of a vibrant young woman with a promising future.
She's young, intelligent, and beautiful. By the age of 24, Mitrice Richardson had graduated from college, competed in the Miss Fullerton pageant, and had a full life ahead of her. But 7 months ago, she vanished.
This would be such a great present that you can give us, is to find Mitrice, and we need your help.
Her sudden disappearance in 2009 shocked her community and led to widespread media coverage, as well as ongoing discussions about mental health and law enforcement practices. Understanding Mitrice Richardson's background provides insight into the person she was, a dedicated student, loving partner, and cherished family member. Her story continues to resonate with many, serving as a poignant reminder of the complexities surrounding mental health and the justice system. On the evening of September 16, 2009, Mitrice Richardson, a 24-year-old woman, arrived at Jeffrey's, an upscale restaurant in Malibu, California. Known for its scenic ocean views and celebrity clientele, Jeffrey's was an unlikely setting for the events that would soon unfold. Mitrice's behavior at the restaurant was notably erratic. She reportedly joined other patrons uninvited, engaging in conversations that left them puzzled. At one table, she allegedly claimed to be from Mars, and at another, she mentioned avenging the death of Michael Jackson, who had passed away earlier that year. Such statements, combined with her unsolicited interactions, raised concerns among the staff and guests. When it came time to settle her bill, totaling $89, Mitrice informed the staff that she was unable to pay. She offered various explanations, including that she was busted and that her wallet was in her car. Staff accompanied her to her vehicle, a 1998 Honda Civic, but she was still unable to produce any form of payment. Given the situation and her earlier behavior, the restaurant's management decided to contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, LASD, for assistance. Deputies from the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Station arrived at Jeffrey's around 9 p.m. They conducted a field sobriety test to determine if Mitrice was under the influence of alcohol or drugs. The results indicated she was sober. However, upon searching her vehicle, deputies found less than an ounce of marijuana. Consequently, Mitrice was arrested on charges of defrauding an innkeeper, a misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana. Her car was impounded, leaving her without access to her personal belongings, including her phone, wallet, and identification. Mitrice was transported to the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Station, approximately 10 miles away from the restaurant. Standard procedure would have involved booking her, setting bail, and detaining her until she could arrange payment or appear before a judge. However, the situation took a controversial turn. During the booking process, Mitrice's mother, Lettice Sutton, contacted the station after learning of her daughter's arrest. Expressing concern for Mitrice's mental state, she requested that her daughter be held until morning, emphasizing that she was unfamiliar with the area and had no means of transportation or communication. The deputies assured Lettice that Mitrice would be safe and that they would not release her until the morning. Contrary to these assurances, Mitrice was released from custody shortly after midnight on September 17, 2009, around 12:38 a.m. She was released without her personal belongings, which remained in her impounded car, and had no means of contacting anyone or arranging transportation.
Back in 2009, Mitrice Richardson was arrested after not paying her bill at a Malibu restaurant. She was released from the Malibu station and then vanished.
The station is located in a remote area with limited public services, especially during the early morning hours.
24-year-old Richardson went missing back in 2009 after she was released from the sheriff's Malibu Lost Hills station in the middle of the night, even though she did not have transportation, a phone, or a wallet, and she may have been suffering from mental illness.
The decision to release Mitrice under these circumstances has been widely criticized. Standard LASD policy typically involves detaining individuals who lack the means to ensure their safety upon release, especially during late hours. Additionally, concerns about her mental state, as evidenced by her behavior at the restaurant, should have prompted further evaluation before deciding to release her without support. In the hours following her release, there were reports of Mitrice being seen in the vicinity of the station. Around 6:30 a.m., she was reportedly spotted in the backyard of a residence in Montanido, approximately 6 miles from the station. The homeowner contacted the authorities, but by the time deputies arrived, she was gone. This was the last confirmed sighting of Mitrice, before her remains were discovered nearly a year later.
Last September, park rangers found Mitrice Richardson's remains in Malibu Canyon, 11 months after she disappeared following a misdemeanor arrest and release from jail in Malibu. Tonight, a concerned crowd filled a civil rights meeting about her unresolved death investigation.
The handling of Mitrice Richardson's arrest and subsequent release has been the subject of legal actions and public scrutiny. Her family filed lawsuits against LASD, alleging negligence and mishandling of the situation. In 2011, Los Angeles County reached a settlement with her parents, awarding them $450,000 each. Despite the settlement, the family continued to seek answers and accountability, requesting further investigations into the case. This tragic sequence of events has highlighted systemic issues within law enforcement practices, particularly concerning the treatment of individuals exhibiting signs of mental distress. It underscores the importance of proper protocols and compassionate handling to prevent similar tragedies in the future. After her arrest at Jeffrey's restaurant in Malibu on the evening of September 16, 2009, Mitrice Richardson was transported to the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Station, located approximately 16 miles away. Her mother, Lettice Sutton, concerned about Mitrice's mental state, had requested that her daughter be held until morning so she could come to pick her up. Despite these concerns, Mitrice was released from custody shortly after midnight on September 17, 2009, without her personal belongings, which included her phone and wallet, and with no means of transportation. Surveillance footage from the station later revealed that Mitrice made 4 attempts to call her great-grandmother from the station's lobby. However, it remains unclear whether any of these calls successfully connected. This lack of communication left her family unaware of her release and unable to provide immediate assistance. The last confirmed sighting of Mitrice occurred around 6:30 a.m. on September 17, 2009, in the Montanido neighborhood, approximately 6 miles from the sheriff's station. A resident reported seeing a woman matching Mitrice's description in their backyard. The homeowner contacted the authorities to report the sighting, but by the time deputies arrived, Mitrice had disappeared. In the days following her disappearance, Mitrice's family grew increasingly concerned and began organizing search efforts.
A massive search effort for Mitrice Richardson continued over the weekend on the ground and in the air. Search teams with rescue dogs and on horseback combed the rugged terrain near Malibu.
We are searching about a 60 to 80 square mile area and we're searching basically from the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff Station onward to Malibu itself.
They criticized the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, LASD, for what they perceived as a lack of urgency and inadequate communication regarding the search for Mitrice.
This man's daughter is sitting in a grave because somebody in the police department did not do their job.
The family felt that more immediate and comprehensive search efforts could have been initiated, considering the circumstances of her release and subsequent disappearance. Months passed without significant leads. In January 2010, approximately 4 months after Mitrice's disappearance, the LASD conducted a large-scale search operation in the Malibu Canyon area, involving over 300 volunteers. Despite these efforts, no trace of Mitrice was found during this search. On August 9, 2010, nearly 11 months after her disappearance, park rangers discovered skeletal remains in a remote area of Dark Canyon near Monte Nido. The remains were later identified as those of Mitrice Richardson. The location of the discovery was approximately 8 miles from the sheriff's station and about 2 miles from the site of her last reported sighting. The condition of Mitrice's remains presented challenges for investigators. Her body was found in a state of partial mummification, and her clothing was discovered scattered nearby. These factors complicated the determination of a clear cause of death. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ultimately declared the cause of death as undetermined, citing insufficient evidence to ascertain whether foul play was involved. The handling of Mitrice Richardson's case has been the subject of ongoing scrutiny and criticism. Her family's persistent advocacy has highlighted concerns regarding law enforcement's treatment of individuals with mental health issues, particularly in relation to custody release policies. The case has prompted discussions about the need for systemic reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of vulnerable individuals in similar situations. In the years since Mitrice's death, her family and supporters have continued to seek answers and justice. Their efforts have included legal actions, public awareness campaigns, and calls for policy changes within law enforcement agencies. The case remains a poignant example of the complexities and challenges at the intersection of mental health and the criminal justice system. Mitrice Richardson's story has also been featured in various media outlets, including documentaries and podcasts, bringing national attention to the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and death. This coverage has played a significant role in fostering public dialogue about the systemic issues highlighted by her case. As of now, many questions about the events leading up to and following Mitrice's release from custody remain unanswered. The case continues to serve as a catalyst for discussions on necessary reforms to protect individuals with mental health concerns and prevent similar tragedies in the future. Following the tragic disappearance and subsequent death of Mitrice Richardson, her family sought justice and accountability through legal avenues. They believed that the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, LASD, had acted negligently in releasing Mitrice under unsafe conditions and mishandled the investigation that followed. In the months after Mitrice's disappearance, her parents, Lettice Sutton and Michael Richardson, filed wrongful death lawsuits against LASD. They alleged that the department's decision to release Mitrice late at night without her personal belongings, means of communication, or transportation contributed directly to her disappearance and death.
Lettice is now suing the Sheriff's Department for wrongful death and negligence, saying officers ignored her daughter's strange behavior and did not take any action to evaluate her mental state.
That's highly irresponsible to me.
The lawsuits also criticized the subsequent investigation, pointing to delays and perceived inadequacies in the search efforts. In August 2011, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors approved a tentative settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit. The county agreed to pay a total of $900,000, with each parent receiving $450,000. This settlement was intended to address the family's claims of negligence and provide some measure of recompense for their profound loss. Despite the settlement, Mitrice's family remained steadfast in their pursuit of answers and accountability. They felt that the settlement did not fully address the systemic issues within LASD or provide a complete explanation of the circumstances leading to Mitrice's death. In 2015, seeking a more thorough investigation, the family formally requested that the California Attorney General's office review the case. Initially, the Attorney General's office declined to pursue a criminal investigation, citing a lack of sufficient grounds. However, persistent advocacy from Mitrice's family and public pressure led to a reconsideration. In early 2016, then Attorney General Kamala Harris announced the opening of a criminal investigation into LASD's handling of Mitrice's case. The investigation aimed to examine whether any criminal misconduct occurred in the arrest, release, and subsequent investigation related to Mitrice Richardson. By December 2016, the Attorney General's office concluded that there was insufficient evidence to support criminal charges against any individuals involved in the case. This conclusion was met with disappointment by Mitrice's family and supporters, who felt that many questions remained unanswered. The legal proceedings surrounding Mitrice Richardson's case have had a lasting impact on discussions about law enforcement practices, particularly concerning the treatment of individuals with mental health issues. The family's relentless pursuit of justice has highlighted the need for systemic reforms to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Their advocacy has spurred conversations about the protocols for releasing individuals from custody, especially those who may be vulnerable due to mental health concerns. The case underscores the importance of ensuring that law enforcement agencies have appropriate policies in place to protect individuals, and that there is accountability when those policies are not followed. While the legal settlements provided some acknowledgement of the failures that occurred, Mitrice Richardson's family continues to seek comprehensive answers and systemic change. Their journey reflects a broader struggle for justice and reform within the criminal justice system, emphasizing the need for transparency, accountability, and compassion in law enforcement practices. On August 9, 2010, nearly 11 months after Mitrice Richardson's disappearance, park rangers discovered her skeletal remains in a remote area of Dark Canyon, approximately 8 miles from the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Station. The location, known for its rugged terrain, is about 6.5 miles from the station where she was last seen. The condition of Mitrice's remains raised numerous questions. Her body was found naked, with her clothing, including her jeans and bra, scattered hundreds of feet down the ravine. Notably, her skull and spinal cord were detached from the rest of her remains. These factors complicated the investigation, making it challenging to determine a definitive cause of death. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ultimately declared the cause of death as undetermined, citing insufficient evidence to ascertain whether foul play was involved. The discovery of Mitrice's remains drew significant media attention, with coverage in major outlets and features in true crime documentaries and podcasts. For instance, her case was highlighted in ABC 7's special Unsolved LA, The Mitrice Richardson Mystery, which delved into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and death. Public outcry over the handling of Mitrice's case highlighted systemic issues within law enforcement, particularly concerning the treatment of individuals with mental health concerns. Critics pointed to the decision to release her from custody late at night without her personal belongings or means of transportation, despite evident signs of mental distress. This incident underscored the need for law enforcement agencies to reevaluate their protocols when dealing with vulnerable individuals. In response to the public's concern, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department faced scrutiny over their procedures and the decisions made on the night of Mitrice's release. The case prompted discussions about the necessity for reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of individuals in custody, especially those exhibiting signs of mental health issues. The aftermath of Mitrice Richardson's case serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of proper protocols and compassionate treatment for individuals with mental health concerns within the criminal justice system. It has become a catalyst for ongoing conversations about necessary reforms to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Mitrice Richardson's tragic story underscores the critical need for law enforcement agencies to adopt comprehensive policies that safeguard individuals experiencing mental health crises. Her case exemplifies the potential consequences when mental health concerns intersect with the criminal justice system, highlighting systemic shortcomings that can lead to devastating outcomes. In September 2009, Mitrice was arrested in Malibu, California, following erratic behavior at a restaurant. Despite evident signs of mental distress, she was released from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's custody during the early morning hours, without her personal belongings or means to ensure her safety. Tragically, her remains were discovered nearly a year later, prompting widespread criticism of the procedures that led to her release. This incident has been extensively covered in various media outlets, including ABC 7's special Unsolved LA, The Disappearance of Mitrice Richardson, which delves into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and death. The public outcry following Mitrice's death has spurred discussions on the necessity for systemic reforms within law enforcement. Advocates emphasize the importance of implementing policies that prioritize the safety and well-being of vulnerable individuals, particularly those exhibiting signs of mental health issues. Such reforms may include mandatory mental health evaluations prior to release, enhanced training for officers to recognize and respond to mental health crises, and the establishment of protocols that ensure individuals are not released into potentially hazardous situations. As we reflect on Mitrice's life and the circumstances surrounding her untimely death, it is imperative to advocate for systemic changes that prioritize the safety and well-being of all individuals. By addressing these critical issues, we can work towards a more compassionate and just system that prevents future tragedies and honors the memory of those like Mitrice Richardson. Thank you for watching our video on Mitrice Richardson's story. If you found this content informative and want to stay updated on similar topics, please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to like this video and share it with others to raise awareness. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content.